Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to share with you my top 10 supplies for scrapbooking, card making, any kind of paper crafts. I do a lot of other stuff like art journaling, mixed media, that sort of thing. But today I'm just going to focus on my most used supplies for paper crafting. One of my definitely essential, most used is my Fiskars trimmer. Now this is the one that has the little wire in here, and they did have a problem for a while that the wire they had was fraying. Now they do solid wires in it, so it's not anything to worry about. I love how wide the base of this is. It goes right out to 6 1/4. So a lot of the time, especially card making, I don't need to put out the arm, but there is an arm that you can extend. And I think that one goes out to like 15, just past 15 inches. I also like that on this side, there is about 1 1/4 inches of measuring space as well. So for all those tiny little cuts, I can just slide my paper over this way and measure it. A definite must have. Along the same lines, in the measuring family, I have a T ruler and just a regular metal ruler. I use these both quite a bit. I like the T ruler because I can line it up with the edge of my page and make sure that things are going straight. And I just like the nice clear measurements on my metal ruler, so I tend to use that just for the everyday measuring, and the T ruler more for lining stuff up. Now it might be hard to believe, but I don't always line everything up. If I'm building a 12 by 24 layout, I do like to use the Close to My Heart Versamats. So these are just a grid mat. They have grids all the way across. All 4 sides has measurements on it. And I like to use 2. So I'll put 2 side by side, and then I can line up both pages and make sure that everything's flowing across the 2 pages really well. Now this is an absolute must-have for me. The Close to My Heart non-stick scissors. I love these things. They have a super fine, sharp point. They do have a guard that goes over them, but honestly, I lose them, so none of mine have this on here. I think I have about 4 pairs right now. I tend to collect them, and they're just so nice and sharp, and there's nothing better than fussy cutting or trimming some ribbon or something with brand new, fresh, sharp scissors. Definitely one thing that I cannot live without is my tape gun. So I know this looks really massive, and some people don't like it because of size, but I love my Scotch Advanced Tape Glider. I get the off-brand refills because I find they work really well. They're also acid-free. You just load your tape inside, and I believe there's 36 yards to a roll. So it lasts a long time. I don't have to be stingy with the tape, and I don't have anything falling off my layouts. Everything sticks really well. I've hung layouts up on display, and nothing has come off of them, so love this gun, love this tape. A very important tool if you like to do inking like I do is the Tim Holtz round inking tool. I used the rectangular ones for a really long time, and I love them, and you know, I learned to blend with them and not have the harsh lines. But this just makes it so much easier. I held off for a long time, and I shouldn't have. I should have jumped on the bandwagon much sooner, but I'm glad I did because it makes blending so much better and smoother, and going through a stencil is really easy, and you just don't get those harsh lines that you had to be really careful with the rectangular inking tool. I am known to do a lot of spraying and painting and messy things, so I do like to have a craft mat out. This is the Close to My Heart one. It has kind of like a sticky side on it. It's kind of like silicone-y, so it's sticky on one side and then it's slippery on the other. Everything comes off of these kind of craft mats. Dried paint, marker, spray, anything like that, it just wipes right off. I have really big ones on my surfaces, so sometimes if you watch my videos and you see that gray background behind my projects, that's because I have the Ken Oliver ones that are 3 feet by 4 feet, I believe, and they're actually that sticky, kind of like silicone-y texture on both sides, front and back. So that's a plus and a minus. Plus, your stuff doesn't roll around. Minus, they're a little bit harder to clean, and they do tend to collect like dust and little bits of paper and stuff like that. So I don't know, I like having it because I do tend to make a mess and I can easily wipe it up and it covers my whole work surface. But something smaller like this might be just what you need. I have two different heat tools to share with you. I have the Ranger one. This looks really nasty and dirty, but that's because I use it. And it's probably because I use it when my hands are dirty, because this is my drying one. So it has paint and mist and all kinds of stuff all over it. But I love this heat tool. It's the Ranger one. Heat It Craft Tool is what it's called. I love it for drying stuff. So when I've misted something or I've painted something and I want to dry it without making it bubble and warp the paper really badly, I use this guy. So that's a must-have. And then when I need to actually heat emboss something and need direct, good, consistent heat, I like the Close to My Heart heat gun. This is similar to a lot of different ones that are on the market, but I find they last really well. I've had mine for, I don't know, maybe 8 years or so, and it's still going strong. It doesn't let me down. And I know it maybe seems a little excessive to have two heat guns, but they really do different functions and very necessary if you like to heat emboss, if you have things that you want to dry on your projects. Definitely recommend both of those. Now, stamping. I love stamps. If you can see behind me, these are boxes, the Close to My Heart large organizers full of stamps. I think I have like 8 of them or so. And I just love stamps. That's something that I'm always attracted to. If I'm out shopping, I always gotta look at the stamps. So I got myself one of the Tim Holtz stamp platforms, and I really like it. It is magnetic, so it has 2 little magnets here that you can use to hold your paper in place, and it also has an easy to clean surface, and there's no edges around these 2 sides. So that means that you can use 12 by 12 paper or larger paper than what the platform actually is, which I have done before when I'm mass stamping stuff for classes or retreats or things like that. And then if you need to switch from like cling stamps to a clear acrylic stamps, the top just comes off. So then you just flip it around. It says on one side rubber and the other one clear. So whatever side you put it down on, it's the right height to stamp for you. And then you just snap it right back in and you're ready to stamp. So I really like this one. I know there's lots of different ones on the market, so you just gotta find the one that's best for you. And you don't necessarily need one. I stamped with just regular acrylic blocks for a long time, and I still do, because a lot of times I'm not mass stamping stuff and I just find it's a pain to have to get out a platform if I have blocks right there and I can just quickly grab it, do one stamp, put it away. It's faster that way. But if you do a lot of stamping or if you have trouble stamping, I definitely recommend the platform. All right, so die cutting. I do quite a bit of die cutting along with my stamping. So I have 2 different ways. I have my manual die cutting and my electronic die cutting. I'm gonna kind of just push them together as one category. But for my manual die cutting, don't laugh because it's a very old machine. But I have my Big Shot, which is very heavy, so I'm not gonna hold it up here. That is a very early edition of the Big Shot, but it still works. Probably one day I'll get the new pretty one, but for the time being, this one still works, still cuts perfectly. And that's what I use for my physical manual die cutting. So when I have all the little thin cuts and the different thin metal dies, and I wanna use those, maybe they coordinate with stamps, that's what I use to die cut them. Now for my digital die cutting, I really like my Cricut. So I had a Cricut Expression before and I loved it. It was a workhorse, did great job. And I finally got to the point where I was like, okay, I want to try out the new design space, be able to weld stuff together easily, and you know, that's just kind of the way it's going. So I got a Cricut Explore Air, and then I used Design Space for all the sizing and designing and welding and all those kinds of things. And I love it. It works so well. It cuts really intricate cuts. very well. It's plugged in over on the other side of my studio, so I'm not gonna lift it over here, but I do highly recommend it, and I'm very happy that I upgraded from the Cricut Expression. All right, I hope you guys enjoyed that. It was my list of my top 10 supplies. Maybe cheated a little bit, scooched a couple extras in there, but I think you kind of get where I'm going with it. Those are the things I use on a daily basis and that I just wouldn't want to craft without. There's more things that I could kind of fit in here, especially going into the mixed media side of things, so let me know in the comments if you'd like to see that video where I show you more of the things I use for art journaling. Some of those things do translate, like my heat tools. I use those a lot both ways for mixed media and art journaling as well as paper crafting. So let me know if that's something you'd be interested in. Please like and subscribe and leave me a comment down below. See you next time.